Hi, everybody. Welcome along to this percussion discussion special. Please check out all of our social media. As usual, you know where to look. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. A little bit about this episode. A little while ago, I interviewed the wonderful John Macaluso. John's got a rich history of playing with rock and metal acts such as Yngwie Malmsteen, TNT, Symphony X, James Labrie from Dream Theater, Riot, his own band, like his progressive rock slash metal band, Arc. He's done lots and lots. He's a great drummer, a New Yorker now residing in Italy. And he's put a lot of work, a lot of effort and time into his new book. So we're going to talk all about the book and what it contains and what you can get from it. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome back my good friend, Mr. John Macaluso. Look, John, this is amazing to be with you, drummer and now author as well. How does that feel?
Well, it's great. It's amazing. I mean, I wrote a book years ago I was in Germany many years ago. We're recording the third album of my band, Arc, which never came out. So in the studio, it was like your typical stupid story. The band had a fight. This guy got in his car. He went home. But I was from America, so I was stuck in Germany. Like we split in the studio. It was like a movie. And I'm in Germany. The guy said, you could hang here at the studio, man. You know what I mean? I got the apartment across the street and you could stay for a week. I go, okay, until I go home. So I was in the studio every day with a drum set, just me. And I'm like, what can I do here? Let me do something. So it sounds crazy, but I started off making an excuse handbook for drummers. Like my grandmother died. What do you mean? You said that last week. She died again. Or like my monkey ate my homework, like stupid things. I started out, it was going to be an excuse handbook. And then like on the opposite side, upside down, you could turn it over. Halfway through would be like a tourist manual for drummers traveling around Europe or for musicians. Like where to find an electronic shop on a Sunday if you're in Germany, like Hamburg, important things, where to eat, where to go, different places to hang. And then I'm like, John, you idiot, there's a drum set there. You got nothing to do for a week. Start writing a book. And that's what I did with my first book. But I got to say, as much as I was proud of it, it's kind of schizophrenic. It starts off linear and it goes to double bass. There's no rising. And I said, I'm going to make a book now on one subject I love, which is linear, for two reasons. I go, I really need a book that you can build from the beginning to end, make it rise like a song. You know what I mean? So I start off very simple and it gets more complicated, but it's linear. So anybody could really play it. My dog could play it, but then again, he's got four-way coordination better than me. But with linear, as long as you're playing slow, like right, left, anybody can really play it. So it might sound complicated, but when you go through my systems and you learn about balance and different, I use mental visuals. Anyway, what happened was I wanted a book like that. And for the second reason, I said, linear, I'll tell you the history really quickly in a second, but not many of the guys in like my genre use the stuff, prog and prog metal. I do a lot of stuff like that. And drummers are always experimenting. But when it really comes to linear, it's more like a gospel and an R&B type thing. And even 70s in ways, and you just didn't know it was linear. It's always been around.
Sure.
I mean, the disco beat is linear. So I said, with prog music and this kind of thing, prog metal, those guys are like the jazz people, the jazz drummers in the 40s and 30s and 50s, like they're the experimenters, the prog guys, So I said, maybe I should focus on rock and metal, but make it linear. And when I talked to Joe Franco, because Joe's wanted to help me hook the whole thing up and find the publisher, he said, first of all, your name is too complicated. I called it United Sounds of Separation.
I like that.
Because linear is all separate sounds and you're uniting them. He goes, great, but it's got to be something really simple. How about linear rock drumming? I said, that's why you're Joe Franco and I'm not. Perfect. So we named it Linear Rock Drumming, United Sounds of Separation. And It's, yeah, rock. So it's not like you're going to learn new chops or you're going to learn a new drum lick. It's all linear. It's stuff you can use in songs, but it's more centered towards rock and, you know, metal and prog. So that's what happened. I'm done. And I got a great publisher, Hudson Music, which is amazing.
Huge.
When I go on the website, I see Steve Gadd's face. I'm like, that's a good website. This is the company. So yeah, man, I'm psyched. It's taken me a long time. And it's out right now, but they didn't advertise it. They're going to advertise it this week.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm honestly, I'm so impressed. And I love the United Sounds of Separation. I think that's a great title. But I see where Joe was coming from, you know, make it simple. But I think that's really well thought out. And of course, Joe, he was kind of your mentor, really, wasn't he? You know, he still is. And he did the forward for you.
Joe did the forward for me, which is incredible. He goes, could I write something in the book, you know, like a comment or something? And then I'm like, of course. He goes, you know what? I know you a long time. I know you since you're 15. How about I write the forward? I said, great. Unbelievable. And when he finally wrote the forward and I sent it to Hudson, they say the forward is great, but just learn how to spell it. I wrote forward, like, you know, go ahead. And I learned some new things. That forward is actually spelled differently.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Foreword, forward.
I didn't know that. There we go. Who knew?
We're drummers, baby.
But this is great. I mean,
I got to show you this. 1 second. You got to see this. So everybody's coming over my house, my father-in-law and my friends. They're trying to fix this sink thing.
Right.
They're trying to fix this faucet because you got to go underneath and you got to connect it. And
right.
So I just put this belt here and it works. And it's been this way for 6 months. And I call myself Diploma Drummer.
Oh, the double threat,
Anyway, yeah, Matty, so I'm really psyched. I mean, it's great because I don't have to do this myself. You know what I mean? When you do things like this, it's a full-time job trying to market it and get it seen and go on this website. And I want to play drums. So I'm just excited. I have a real publisher and they're into it. And it's a dream to me, man.
It's amazing. And you know, just so people, when they buy it, and they're expecting something through the post. It's a download. It's an ebook, isn't it? You can't get a hard copy of this.
No, it's an ebook, and it's really high tech. I mean, you get the book, you click, there's the cover, it opens up, and you got page, and there's 23 chapters. So for each chapter, I made video. I made 3 examples. So you can click on number 5, and instantly, boom, in seconds, the video pops up. And you could see what I'm doing. So you understand the concept. Each chapter has 3. Then you go to the next chapter. So it's 23 chapters. And also the audio is really great. It's all done in my, not all of it is done in my studio, but most of it is done in my studio and different studios through Europe that I was recording with. If I had extra time, I would pump out a couple of the beats. Yeah, so the cool thing is, like, it's not only for drummers. Musicians can use it too, but what I mean is the audio is really cool. So if you're a guitarist or you're a singer and it'll give you new ideas, you can play along to these grooves, you can use the grooves. And yeah, so basically that's it, man. Very high tech, beautiful. And it's just, I never knew you could do these things. You know, like we were talking, I was saying, I'm used to like old spaghetti stained and sweat and beer on the book and the paper, and it's all ripped apart. That's what we're used to with drum books, but it's a new generation, and it's just brilliant how if you don't understand something, you just click on a video, bam. Well, look, but it's not overkill. It's not like every beat is there. You know, you got to work also, you know?
Well, I know. I'll tell you what. Well, let's briefly have a look at some of the video that you might see on the book. So here we go. Let's have a look. there we go. I hope you enjoyed that little brief clip of it, so you can see what you're going to get when you buy, not if, when you buy this book. I think it's about, is it about $16, something like that, or $15, which isn't a lot of money these days, is it?
$15.99.
15. So you get change as well. There you go.
You do. You get change. You get a couple of shillings back.
Does it seem strange working in dollars, obviously, because you're in Euroland, aren't you, over in Italy?
I'm in Euroland, exactly. When I do sessions like for Americans, like we do on Skype or voicemail, and I say, okay, I could do the record, if you could pay me in euros, it would be great. You just go to PayPal, and right away they think I'm ripping them off. Wait a minute, euros, what is this? I'm like, it changes every day. Just go, if you want to see the rate, go online. Euros, I don't know if I could do that. And then they find out it's pretty similar,
Sure.
But yes, I'm in Euroland.
But amazing to have your own book of this standard, and I really, really hope it's a success for you. It really is. And let's talk about the cover, because it's a cool cover as well. It's not like,
cool, thanks.
It's not like some drum books of the day, that can be a bit.
What's funny? What's funny is when I was talking to Joe Franco, I mean, he has the best selling and the best double bass book ever. And let's look at the name, double bass drumming. He hits some impact. He knows how to do it. So Joe was saying about the cover. I made a cover. I got a great friend here who worked. He's a great artist and photographer. So I made a cover, and Joe said it looks kind of like an album cover. It was a little different than the one you saw. And I'm all excited. I'm going, yeah, it does, doesn't it? And he goes, yeah, but a lot of books today, and even in the past, they don't have a photo of you. And they're kind of like, it's kind of like a basic look for drum books. And I said, I know you're helping me with everything, but what if I keep this cover and I go more like an album cover? And he goes, you know what? I really like it. I really like it. So he liked the idea, but I changed it. I said, how could I connect the name? Because the name was United Sounds of Separation, linear drumming. Now it's linear rock drumming, United Sounds of Separation. So I'm like, how could you show that in a photograph or on a cover? How can I show that? So I explained it to my friend, and he came back with this piece of art, and it was like 3 of me on one drum kit. So it's like linear because it's all separate, but we're united. It's like not Siamese twins. There's 3 of us, Siamese triplets. So I think the cover it's cool because he actually captured it with the photo also, which is not easy to do. I mean, isn't it true that a lot of the old book covers that we grew up with look like early MTV videos or like first week Photoshop? I mean, it just looks like really, I don't really dig them, man. So I made it look more like an album cover. And if you like it, that's great.
Do you know what? As amazing it is to have the ebook, though, is it a possibility that you personally will get a hard copy of this? Is that something that might happen, or will you?
I mean, they still do it at Hudson, like the Steve Gadd book, Gaddaments. It's amazing. I think it's they have that. Yeah, they have that as a paper book, and they also have it as the ebook. I'm hoping. I guess it depends on how good it does.
Yeah, be nice to hold one, wouldn't it?
It would be amazing to hold one. I mean, when I do some clinics, because I know everybody's not going to come with an iPad or something, but I was thinking maybe I would print out like a handout with different examples, and people can follow along.
Good idea. Yeah, I like that. But
tell me.
No. I was just going to say, I was looking through, obviously I haven't seen the book yet, but I was looking through a kind of, a description of it. And there's a couple of things in there which made me smile because I have no clue what you're referring to. One of them is spaghetti arms.
Spaghetti arm and pizza snare.
Yeah, well, there's a bit of a link to your Italian heritage there, isn't there?
Spaghetti arm is leading up to how I really got into linear. I'm born in New York. I lived in New York, but at 17, I went to night school and day school. I doubled up on my subjects. I wanted to go to California and get the hell out and go rock in Hollywood. So I went to PIT. And when I was at PIT, I did this kind of motion. It was a 4-stroke rough between the bass drum and the hand. Abba-da-bum, abba-da-bum. And when I was doing it, I was like, doing this, and I said, it looks kind of like a very cooked, not al dente, but a cooked piece of spaghetti. And a lot of my friends out there, including Matt Logg, who now plays for AC/DC, unbelievable. He was the first friend I met out there. And he's like, we were talking. I said, looks like a piece of spaghetti. A couple of days after, hey, spaghetti arm. And then another friend of mine, do spaghetti arm. So kind of stuck. And it's kind of like the whole book has things like that because you never forget it. I have pizza snare. And pizza snare is when you do a side stick on your snare drum. If your hand is here with the stick laying this way and your arm is here, the exposed part of the snare head looks like a triangle. It looks like a piece of pizza. Yes, and it's cool because on the pizza snare system, I could get a side stick. I could also mute the snare to get like kind of a drum and bassy thing, could mute it with the palm. You could take your hand off and hit and then go back down. Bow, bow. So pizza snare, spaghetti arm, there's a chapter in the end, it's chapter 22. I blend pizza snare with spaghetti arm and I call it lunch beats.
I've never,
it's true.
Talking about a book of drums has never made me hungry before in my life, I'll be honest. Well, look.
Matt, you know what's funny? Oh, sorry.
No, you carry on.
What's funny is I grew up, it was Joe Franco and Neil Peart and Keith Moon. Those were my big three. And then I discovered Bozio because every drum, like I'm from Long Island and everybody in Long Island usually had a basement. And people take that for granted. So Long Island is full of drummers because we had the basements, right? And Rush was gigantic, okay, in New York. And after playing for a while, I realized as much of a Neil Peart fan as I am, I kind of have to get away from it because I realized everybody is doing it and they're doing it note for note. And I'm like, that's amazing. And I love Neil Peart, but what am I going to do? I really want to be original, like Joe Franco or Keith Moon. They were innovators, right? So I hate to say it, but I got a little less Neil Peart and I discovered Terry Bozzio. And that changed everything for me. Because, just the way he played, it was artistic. It was still heavy. He was putting melodies in there. He was doing stuff I never saw before. So I moved out to California, and my big three drummers would be Joe Franco, Keith Moon, Terry Bozzio, right? That was my guys. I'm going to blend. I'm going to make a drum salad with those styles. When I was out of PIT, there was a drum clinic, and it was Bozzio and a guy named Sonny Emery. I got to see this.
Sonny Emery.
So I go to see Bozzio. And the guy that came out, Sonny Emery, I'm like, who's this guy? It was so unbelievable. It was ridiculous. Perfect timing, speed, finesse, throwing his sticks around, rocking, but always a punch. And I'm a rock drummer, it wasn't wimpy. And he handed a handout with 5 linear grooves. And what attracted me, because I love Billy Cobham, a lot of the stuff was left hand on a hi-hat and a right would go around the kit. I remember the first one. It was like, I was so into that. He played the stuff from the handout. All I wanted to do was go home. Not because they were bad players, because they're the best, right? But I had an idea. I said, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. I said, I want to go home and practice this stuff. I want to work on this stuff. So long story short, I know it's too late. This whole book, the influence came from Sonny Emery. And he doesn't know it. I never met him. I'm going to write him or maybe have the Hudson guys contact him because this is all his fault.
Well, I've seen Sonny Emery play with Earth, Wind and Fire a long time ago, and he was incredible. He was amazing,
Amazing.
Well, John, honestly, I have to congratulate you on this book, and I will be buying it and trying some stuff, and I'll let you know how I get on.
I need to review.
I love linear anyway, so it's I should be giving it a taste, see how we get on.
So basically, what I do, like, there's an introduction to linear. It's the simplest of beats. Bass, snap, bass, snap, when you play that fast, linear, there's nothing to hold on to. Like if you're playing a straight rock groove, you could dig into the hi-hat and the bass drum on the one, or you could connect the snare drum and the hi-hat. There's like crutches. This is like in the circus, you're walking a tightrope with no net. So when you get into the complicated linear stuff, there's nothing to lean on. So I have a thing I call the prime note. And linear is all about balance. You have to balance yourself because everything is separate. And if you think for 1 second, you could lose it. There's really nothing to dig into. So I kind of came up with this thing I call the prime note, where when you play the linear beat, you find that comfort beat. You find that one beat. It could be on the end of 3. It could be on 2. And in your next measure, you pre-think that. You pick that beat, and that's your balance. So now you play one measure. You're kind of looking forward to that next measure because that beat is going to keep you grounded.
That's like your anchor.
So linear is very balanced, you know.
Yeah, like
that's really important.
Like an anchor,
huh?
something to
exactly.
Anchor. Yeah.
Exactly, and it totally works, man. So it starts off like that, basically, keeping like a 2 and 4 in a snare, but shifting the kick. It starts on 1. The next might be the E, and then the end, and then the So really simple. You play it. You don't worry about feel either. I said you want to sound like a machine in the beginning. Just get comfortable, and if you sound stiff, that's good. As you move on, we get more into like the next section is called rock beats gone linear. And I take, for example, I take Smells Like Teen Spirit. Take that beat, boom, and now linear. Or Immigrant Song. So you're taking popular beats now, famous beats, and you're converting them to linear. And then as we move on, we start getting more into feel. Like I studied with Al Miller a long time ago, an amazing teacher. He wrote a lot of books. And Al gave me one phrase which rings through my head, and it's so true. He said, it's not music without accents. And I said, Moni basta. So I really, it's not music without accents. And he's so correct, you know? So as you start off very stiff, just getting the prime note and getting used to linear and the balance, now on chapter 3, adding accents, you really have to think about feel. And it's amazing that shifting one accent completely changes the whole feel of the beat. So we move on. We get a little more complicated, but not really that complicated yet. So from adding accents, chapter 3, chapter 4, I call sonic linear. So with linear now, I could take a basic beat, dum dum ba, dum dum ba. Now, if you linear it, we will rock you. I put the hi-hat between. So this rhythm, now it can be a totally new world. And the battle cry of the book is the beat remains the same. So it's still boom, boom, ba. But now I could do another world up here with bells. I can make melody. I could go up and down the toms. So if you turn linear upside down, it's like 2 worlds. And that gets crazy because you might be used to the hi-hat, but every student, as soon as you go into sonic linear, just by moving and you hear a high tom now, it messes you up. Whoa. No problem. But now take that around. Whoa, what the hell's going on here? So chapter 4 is kind of getting used to making melodies with the drums. And that's how it starts. And it's not complicated, but in that chapter at the bottom, I have these things called freedom bars. And I kind of I kind of push creativity. Now that you know this chapter, make something of your own. Take my exact beat, but do it on different toms. So I know we can't write with a pencil anymore, but I put the freedom bars and I say at the end of every chapter you complete, try to either take pieces and connect them, because it's all interchangeable. You could take half measure from here, or you could just try different toms, different bells. So I kind of push the whole thing like creativity. And that's just the first 4 chapters.
It's limitless, isn't it? It really is what you can do.
It's limitless because the cool thing with 23 chapters now, I could take beat number 5 of chapter number 6, and I could connect half of it with chapter number 8. And now you have this like nonstop creativity thing. And then depending on how many toys you have on your drum set, you could go nuts. I mean, I do things with polymeter, which means you could pretty much do a basic 4/4 on the bottom between your kick and snare. And now you could decide, I want to play odd time with my toms or my bells. So I can pick 5 bells, but I'm going to keep We Will Rock You. And a certain amount of times it comes back to 1. But you control that by how many toys you want to use. And that's just scratching the surface, man.
Couldn't do much on mine, John. Look.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no bells or whistles on there. It's a bit of a Ringo thing, Charlie Watts thing going on, and that's it. Yeah.
Well, Joe Franco was the first guy to say, with a book like this, write it for a 5-piece kit, because that's what most people have. Because in the beginning, I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. But nobody has like a UFIP ice bell from 1979. You know what I mean? So I said, whoa, it's got to be basically hi-hat, ride cymbal, a kick, 2 toms, floor tom, snare, bottom. That's it. Yeah. And then you decide, like I have a thing called, at the bottom of each chapter, study A and study B. So you got your 10 examples, and then study A is orchestrated. So you can orchestrate on your toms, or you add, I say, just take another cymbal and put it on your kit for orchestrated. So you can decide how much you want to orchestrate by adding stuff. And then the study B, I call beat fills, which the cool thing about linear, again, the beat remains the same. So you got boom, boom, ba, boom, boom, ba. You play that beat, but you can also put in a fill. As long as you keep that 2 and 4 on the snare, the fill is really just part of the beat. Okay, so I push that, and I give one example. I call it beat fill, PHIL, because I do a Phil Collins type thing.
Okay,
so the first one.
Love it. Well, look, John, I have to say, I can see how enthusiastic you are about this book, and it's great to see. And you know, when you see enthusiasm like that, it generally screams that it's a good quality product, and one I'm going to get. Well, I'm going to see if I can get it tomorrow. And is it? Do you say? Can you buy it yet?
Yeah, it came out pretty much. It came out Monday, but they haven't spread the word yet. They're going to do it this week.
Okay.
So I'm kind of doing the same. I'm kind of chilling out. It's like what you get me for Christmas. That's the feeling I got. Like, come on, guys. But yeah, I mean, I think you're going to really dig it, because it's called linear rock drumming, but depending on how hard you hit or what cymbal you play on, it's not always rock. I mean, it's up to you. It's just a concept, you know. Each chapter is its own concept, and you don't only have to use that in linear, because I forgot which chapter it is. I call it stairway linear. So again, you could take We Will Rock You, and I'm going to go up the stairs and down the stairs. So you can start on your floor tom and go to your ride cymbal. It's a 2-story house. One hit on each. Then you could add a cymbal. You could add 4 cymbals. So it depends on how high you want to go. And also round table linear, same kind of concept, where I'm going around the drums now. And I could do 1 hit on each, 2 hit on each. And so it's endless. I mean, you could use that concept with connecting notes too. It doesn't have to be only linear. So I'm really happy with it, man. It took 13 years.
You know, but I'm so pleased that it's out, and you know, people can go and get this. So congratulations, John, and thanks for chatting with me again. And I'm sure we'll speak again soon. So go out, buy the book, and let John know what you think of it. So there we go. Thank you, John.
Yeah, you can get the book, this hudsonmusic.com. Well, I sent you a link, Maddie. Can you pop that link?
All the details will be in the notes underneath, and you'll be able to click on it and get it.
Maddie, could I just say one thing about the finale, about the end of the book?
Do it.
Okay. Okay, so as you're going through all the systems in the book, you do 23 different systems. After your 22nd system, you have all these tools now. Now, you want to write with the band. You don't want to be the drummer sitting on a couch saying, "Hey, you guys going to be done soon? We're out of beer." As you know, like, could we take a ride to the supermarket when you're done writing the songs? I need more beer. You don't want to be that guy. You want to be the drummer that is writing the songs with the band. So after you learn all these sonic linear, like you're actually making melodies and notes on the drums, and then you could, of course, you could make it an odd time rhythmically. It depends on what you want to do. So technically, you can be the songwriter by connecting the groove, the time signature, and the actual melody. So chapter 23, I got together with 4 of my friends from Italy here, bass player, guitar player, keyboard player, and another guitar player. And all this, we recorded 2 songs, and you're going to see in chapter 23, you could click on them when you get the ebook, and you could watch the song. And then I put what I played, you know, I have the notation, but every one of those songs, every little piece of those were all written from the drums first. All right. So from rhythm to melody, the guitar player would listen to my tom melody and play something. And the keyboard player, like, for example, the guitarist was following my hi-hat, but the keyboard player was going to follow my toms, and the bass player is going to follow my kick. So everybody's got a separate rhythm, and you're all in the same key, right? Because you took the key of what the guitar player, no, you took the key of what my toms might have played, right?
Right, okay.
Now everybody's in the same key, and you're in the same groove, but you're all separate. One guy's going dap dap da 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 dap dap da da da. The other guy's going boom 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 boom. Now we are going to unite the separate sounds. So the cool thing is now all together, it's like everybody's playing along, and it unites, and it's just something that really is original. I'm really happy about it, because actually I just wrote those songs. Like them or not, they came from the drums. So it's kind of like that old joke, the drummer joke. When is it time for a band to break up? When a drummer says, "Guys, I got some tunes. Chapter 23 will save you from that."
John,
and that's it, man.
It's been a pleasure, mate. It really has. And
You're the best. Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
I wish you all the luck in the world with this book. I really do. And I will speak to you soon, no doubt. Thank you.
You're great, man. Matty, thanks so much, man.
Take care, John.
Bye, everybody.